This is going to be a demonstration of FTI's fast incremental software. Starting a stopwatch so that you can get an idea of how long things are taking. It's wizard based, so you just follow along in the lower left hand corner and we'll bring in our finished model and we'll skin it. And let's change the material to, I have no idea how similar this is to what titanium would be, but high strength, low alloy grade 40. Very tough material. Generate the mesh. Again, all of this you can see it's very automated, real easy to use. Let's flip the direction. And we know we're going to do two forms. So this particular one is not a draw, it's only a form. We're restriking the radius. So here we're importing another surface, the preform. And this one is going to be a draw. And we'll put blank holder pressure on it. And then it'll give us an exclamation mark saying that, hey, you haven't added the actual pressure yet. We just put a placeholder there for it. Just put 400 pounds or so, and we solve. And now we'll be back at you. I'm going to, it's going to take a while. Actually, this part will go real fast. Once I start the incremental, I'll actually stop the video and we'll leave the stopwatch running so you can see how long it takes. Now we're going to generate the tools. Again, it's wizard based, so you just follow along as it prompts you. And I'm not importing any of this. That was just automatically generated that fast. The blank holder, the punch, and the die. That's for the first draw. And this is the form. Those tools were just generated automatically. Now we define the settings for each of the two operations. Use general. And now we're at a little over 2 minutes and we'll be back in a little bit. We'll let it run. And we're now back. And I'm sorry I didn't get the stopwatch in there, but it was about 14 minutes, and you'll see that on the next video. We'll look at the safety margin. See it's minus 1.4. Look at the forming limit diagrams, and here we change the punch stroke, or where the press is in its stroke. And now I start hitting the down arrow keys on the keyboard. You can see 50, 60, 70%, 80%, 90%. This is the first draw, and you can see we're failing already. So the forming limit diagram can be very, very helpful to look at. Looks confusing, but once you understand it a bit, it's very, very helpful. Again, a safety zone is very much the lay person's way of just looking at it. Red is fail, but only in this screen is red fail. And now again, we'll look at the punch stroke. We hit our keyboard down arrow keys. And you can see even in the first draw it fails. So this is based on the LS Dyna solver by Livermore Software Technology Corporation. Very well industry proven solver. Now we're going to turn the part on its side and turn on the mesh so we can get an idea of what it looks like as we're forming it here. We'll start at the top of the stroke. And let's see, do we have to zoom out a little bit? No, actually probably zoom back in. We want to be zoomed in on this corner. Okay, let's start at the top of the stroke and work our way down with our arrow keys. And there you can see the 30 thousandths radius has been formed. Now we go into the next operation. We keep going down with our arrow keys now. Down, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the percentage. And there that radius starts to get sharpened up. And you can see the flange just curved just a little bit just before it hit home. So great, why not do it on the computer screen rather than in the punch press and having to cut metal, etc., etc. You can do it much faster on the computer screen. Okay, so that was the high strength low alloy grade 80, and now we're going to start a new analysis. I'm starting with 0 again, and this time I'll make sure I leave the stopwatch running the whole time. We're going to change the material to a stainless steel 304, much more formable material, and then we'll regenerate. And now it's going to regenerate everything here in the tree. And then again, we'll come back in a little bit. So there we're at 14 minutes now. It took 14 minutes to solve that. And let's look at, yeah, it's a stainless 304. And safety zone, now we're only marginal, even at the bottom of the stroke. We'll go back up to where the punch stroke starts on the first operation. It's operation 10, number 1. 50, 60, 70, 80, just hitting my arrow keys here. Now we're going on the second one to sharpen things up. So again, the stainless 304 is, of course, well, not of course, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the high strength low alloy that I had done initially. Again, the forming limit diagram, these are all elements. Every one of these dots represents an element in the part, an element of the mesh. So very safe, just have a little bit down at the bottom right. And you can see a few that are red, but that's just meshing. That's not an issue. Now again, red isn't fail here. Red is a spot on the graph. And we'll change the range here of the graph to calculated, and it shows you exactly what it is. So it always starts at 10% and goes to minus 20%, and then I like to always adjust it to calculated so it shows us exactly what it is. So we're thinning about 19%. There's the blank size. Again, safety margin here, we're at 0.416, so it's very, very formable. And this has been a demonstration of fast incremental software by FTI, Forming Technologies Incorporated. Thank you very much.